At the bustling train station in Cape Town, I grappled with my suitcase, its weight reflecting the emotional burden I had borne since my husband's betrayal. This trip to Africa was intended as a healing journey, an opportunity for self-discovery, yet frustration was swiftly enveloping me. Just as I was on the verge of surrender, a warm voice pierced through the tumult. "Let me help you," said a tall man with a gentle smile. Turning, I encountered the kind eyes of Daniel, a local teacher. Without hesitation, he effortlessly lifted my suitcase, his strength alleviating my rising anxiety. His English was impeccable, his voice imbued with a soothing cadence. "It looks like you've had a long day," he remarked with a knowing smile. I nodded, managing a slight, reluctant smile. As we approached the platform, Daniel commenced a conversation about Cape Town's rich history, its vibrant culture, and his work with children. His enthusiasm was infectious, and for the first time in what felt like ages, I experienced a sense of relaxation. "What brings you here?" he inquired with curiosity. I hesitated before responding, uncertain of how much to disclose. "I suppose I'm searching for something, or perhaps fleeing from something." Daniel refrained from pressing for further details and instead provided thoughtful recommendations. Locations to explore, aspects to eschew, and obscure treasures not found in guidebooks. I was astonished by his benevolence towards an unfamiliar individual. "Why are you assisting me?" I ultimately inquired, as my curiosity prevailed. He merely shrugged. Kindness is free, yet it can hold immense significance for another. As I boarded the train, I felt a sense of gratitude for his companionship, albeit fleeting. For a fleeting period, we sat opposite each other, the rhythmic hum of the train permeating the emptiness between our exchanges. Gradually, I divulged more than I had planned regarding my husband's betrayal, my decision to embrace solitude, and my quest towards self-discovery. Daniel listened intently, his dark eyes filled with understanding. He too had faced disappointments, but spoke of hope rather than regret. I admired his resilience. By the time we reached our destination, I felt lighter. The weight I had carried for so long didn't seem as suffocating anymore. Over the next few days, I spent more time with Daniel. What started as a simple encounter at the train station grew into something more. We explored the city together, shared meals, and had conversations that lingered. Long into the night, there was an undeniable connection forming between us, one I wasn't sure I was ready to acknowledge. At 60, I had spent years building walls around my heart, shielding myself from further pain, but Daniel had a way of slipping through the cracks, making me feel safe in a way I hadn't felt in years. Still, I hesitated. Was this real, or was I simply seeking comfort in the arms of someone kind? One evening, as we watched the sunset over the bay, I found myself questioning everything. The way he looked at me, the warmth in his speech sounded effortless and instinctive. Nevertheless, just as I began to lower my defenses, a change occurred. Daniel encountered an old acquaintance, a woman named Sophia. Their connection was fleeting, however the familiarity between them was unmistakable, provoking a pang of jealousy. Unexpected and unpleasant, a twist formed in my chest. I had no justification for this feeling, yet I could not disregard the discomfort. Over the subsequent days, I saw their ease of conversation and the effortless manner in which they integrated into each other's world, leading to the emergence of skepticism. As I recalled past betrayals, I pondered whether I was merely a transient figure in his life. One afternoon, while seated at a small cafe, I observed their conversation, the familiarity between them evident. I attempted to suppress my emotions, yet the pain permeated my being. That night, I confronted Daniel, and the words escaped before I could restrain them. "What is the nature of your relationship with Sophia?" I inquired with a tone more incisive than intended. Daniel was taken aback, then exhaled, stating, "She's merely an old friend." I wished to trust him, yet skepticism had already established itself. "I cannot engage in anything ambiguous. I do not wish to be a hindrance." He extended his hand towards me, but I withdrew. It was not solely about Sophia, but rather about myself, the barriers I had meticulously constructed, and the apprehension of dismantling them for something that may not endure. The following morning, I resolved that I had come here to heal, not to become ensnared in another intricate relationship. I packed my belongings, disregarding the pain in my chest. Daniel attempted to dissuade me, but I remained resolute. The confusion and uncertainty were overwhelming, necessitating my departure. Days elapsed, and the burden of leaving him persisted. I had anticipated that distance would provide clarity, yet I encountered only emptiness. I longed for our conversations. His laughter provided solace in his presence, despite the circumstances. I had allowed myself to develop feelings for him. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived. Daniel had written, expressing his innermost thoughts. He articulated his regret, his fears, and how the past had hindered him from embracing the present. He confessed that his fear was not of me, but of what I symbolized, an opportunity for love anew. I held the letter, uncertain of my response, my heart oscillating between the instinct to safeguard itself and the desire to believe in something genuine. Ultimately, I made a decision. The following day, I visited the art gallery where Daniel and I had experienced one of our most profound moments. I anticipated his presence. When our gazes met, no words were necessary. Initially, we stood in silence, two souls burdened by unexpressed emotions. Eventually, he spoke, expressing his desire not to lose me and his willingness to attempt reconciliation, should I permit it. I inhaled deeply, uncertain if I could overlook the pain, yet I was open to exploring the potential of our relationship if he was prepared to invest effort. We both recognized that love encompassed not only joyous moments, but also challenges, misunderstandings, and fears. For the first time in a considerable while, I felt a renewed belief in the prospect of something transformative. As we walked side by side, no longer mere passers-by in each other's lives, I understood that this journey was merely commencing. The path ahead would undoubtedly be arduous, but perhaps, just perhaps, it would prove worthwhile.